Have you been thinking of working in the NHS and what the benefits might be? Well, in this video, I am going to give you 4 specific areas of benefits that I think would be beneficial for you working in the NHS. If that's something that you're interested in, come along to this video. Hi, my name is Sabrina Phillips and I'm a mental health nurse, and I work as an interim director at the moment in an NHS organisation, or work in partnership with the NHS. On this channel, I talk about nurse career advice, I also do some simple lock hairstyles and some budgeting travel tips. So the first thing is to note, the NHS is the biggest employer in the UK, so they employ about 1.3 million people. That's across the whole of the United Kingdom. So there's a massive opportunity for you to hone your skills, work in different settings. So if that's not a benefit in itself, I don't know what is, but it's that benefit for you to build on the skills that you have and offer that in a myriad of ways across a number of different pathways. One of the first things I'd like to talk about is, your career and development, and I'm quite fortunate to go on a number of courses. So you get supervision, a yearly appraisal, and within that you can do your professional development plan. And I've done a video just talking about how you can look at thinking about your professional development plan and it supporting you in getting to the different roles that you want to get to. I will put that in the description below. The other thing that you've got the opportunity to do is do things like job shares. You can also do things like secondment, where again you're building on your skills and knowledge, but also testing out different areas of where you work. So that's a really good benefit. The other thing I want to say is that you also have the opportunity of taking a career break. So different organisations in the NHS will have what they call a career break scheme, and this varies from length of time. So I know like people go on a 3-6 month a year career break, and to even longer periods. So what I would suggest is, if you're thinking of joining a specific organisation in the NHS, have a look at their career break scheme or ask about it in your interview, because that gives you the opportunity to do something else that might not be, as your role in the NHS, but it's something that you can do. You can go off and do something that you thought of wanting to do, but while still holding your job in the NHS. So that's a really big benefit. So the second area I think is really important. It's about your health and well-being. And one of the things that as an NHS employee is that you are, in terms of leave, you get given, when you first start, 27 days of annual leave plus bank holidays. And the longer that you work in the NHS, the more leave you then have. So for those of you that then have 5 years of experience or 5 years of service in the NHS, so that's 5 years of service, not experience, in the NHS, your annual leave then moves up to 29 days. And if you're like me, who have worked in the NHS for the last over 10 years, I'll say, then you get 33 days plus your bank holidays. And that's quite a lot of leave. I love traveling, so 33 days for me is amazing. But also in terms of your health and well-being, it's really important that you take breaks, and by ensuring that staff have enough leave, you can spread that out through the year. And especially now where I think for a lot of us, when we book leave, we're going somewhere, but leave is there for you to take some time out for yourself, to look after yourself, to care for yourself, so that you could go back into work and care for others. So I would really recommend at this point in time that, although you might not going abroad, and in the current situations we seem not to be allowed to, please do take some time off so that you can rest, recuperate, and then go back in and give that amazing care that you want to give. The other area that is part of your well-being is that there is usually an occupational health service, and there is usually opportunities to get counselling, or if needed, or there is other support. So working in the NHS, it can be quite stressful, and so there are opportunities for staff to access these things in a confidential way so that you are supported, so that you can support and work with others. So I would suggest, if you're not aware of this and you are currently working in the NHS, but if you're coming to the NHS, have a look at the different areas of counselling and support that is available. I spoke about leave, and the other thing to mention is there's also special leave that you can have. So for people that might be having a bereavement, or you might have specific childcare problems for some trusts. Well, I could talk about the trust that I work in. You've got specific days that you can request off. That's on top of your annual leave. However, most of the times it's at the discretion of your manager. So I would suggest you have a conversation with your manager if you'd like to use that special leave. And there's always a specific number of days that you can take off. The other thing is, as I mentioned, it is a stressful job, and sometimes people do become ill, and for whatever reason, and the NHS has an amazing sickness compensation so that you can take the time out needed to get better and come back and give care. And again, I would suggest when you apply to work in the NHS, or if you're working in the NHS, do have a look at what your sickness pay or sickness benefits are. Now, the third area I think is really important is about your family and home life. And some of us, we might live on our own, but we might live with our family, or we might have family abroad, and the NHS is really wants you to be able to have some sort of family life balance. So one of the things trusts are offering is the opportunity to do flexible working. So that's where you have a discussion with your manager and most likely with your human resources to discuss having flexible working, and that could potentially be condensing your hours. So normally in the NHS, for most jobs, it's 37.5-hour week. So you work about an 8-hour day with a half an hour break. So some people would prefer to do, especially those working on wards, maybe long days. In the place I work with, they do 2 long days and 2 short days. That's sort of negotiated, but there's other varying levels of flexibility for those people that might have childcare. So if you need to drop off your child early in the morning and can only start later, have a conversation with your manager and your human resources to negotiate that. And a lot of NHS trusts are putting that out front in part of their application processes, but also ask that at the point of interview. So I'd really suggest that if that's something that you would need, do ask for it. If it's something that you need in future, do check the policy. The next thing is, life happens, and as a woman, some of us will, in our work in the NHS, would be pregnant, or some people become dads, or vice versa. Either way, the NHS offers the opportunity to have maternity leave, and that is depending on length of service, but also there's an offer for paternity leave, and I think it's up to 10 days paid leave, but different organisations policies might vary. So I would suggest you again check with the organisation, but be aware that this is an opportunity as well, and it goes back to that family life balance. The other thing is, working in the NHS, there's also, sometimes they have subsidised accommodation for staff, but also being an NHS worker, you then are qualified for what government schemes such as the Help to Buy, or for those that are still renting, intermediate rent, which is something that I've used, is great, and that means you pay about 20% less in terms of rent than on the open market. So that's a really good benefit. The next area is about your finances. So I think I'll do a different video on the different pay bandings, that you can expect, and depending on what your pay is, you then have to pay tax. But one of the amazing things that working in the NHS you've got is the option to join in the NHS Pension scheme. And although it's changed over the years, it's still one of the best pension schemes out there. So I always advise people to really think about it, because I think it's really important that you plan for your future now. So your future you is going to thank you for you now if you start paying into your pension. And your pension deductions from your salary is dependent on how much you earn. So I think it starts from as little as 5% depending on your earnings, going up to as much as 13.5 or 14.5%. And the brilliant thing about it is you pay and your boss pays in as well, so they pay a percentage of that on top of what you pay from your salary. So we all have to travel into work, and the NHS organisations offer a seasonal subsidised travel ticket, as you pay 10 months worth of a 12-month ticket. So essentially you're making a saving, and I understand that gets deducted from your pay at the point before you get taxed. So that's really handy. So it's an interest-free loan. The other thing I forgot to mention in health and wellbeing is there's a cycle to work scheme, which is amazing because you get given up to £1,000 that is interest-free. You still pay it off via your pay, but for those of you that want a new bike to cycle into work, you can join that scheme. So I hope you like the 4 different areas that I specified. So the first one that I said was a bonus was just working with the biggest organisation in the UK, and you've got a number of areas that you can care in, develop your skills and knowledge. The second area I spoke about was about your career development. I also talked about health and well-being, your family and home life, and the last bit was about your finances. If there's anything you want me to go in a bit more deeper in, do let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you for listening, and let's be bold and brave together. Bye.